ridiculous.
Well, here's the thing.
Maybe. Sometimes.
Tell me about this. I want to know more.
Oh, yeah. No.
Holy cow.
We've had a lot of fun.
So, Catherine, I hear you have a new family member home for the holidays?
Yes, we do. We have a hamster now.
Do you?
Welcome to the life.
Yeah. My husband went to the pet store early,
Yikes.
several days ago to get dog food, which was the first issue because we get the dog food at the grocery store so that we don't have to go to the pet store.
Right.
And, see things like the rocket-shaped cage for hamsters.
Oh, no.
That he saw and was totally taken with.
Is that what did it for him?
I think so. So then he came home and he shows me the cage and he shows me a video of the hamster that he's interested in.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't immediately say absolutely not because I'm trying to not be that person because he thinks that that's all I ever do.
Right.
Because I'm the bad cop, you know. So I just was like, I don't know. And, I don't even know if our son wants a hamster. He really wants a hedgehog. And I don't know if this is going to be like a suitable replacement. So I didn't definitively say yes or no. But apparently that was interpreted as go for it.
Oh, dear.
Oh, no.
And the next day, or a day or two later, he walked in from work and he had the cage and the hamster.
Oh, boy.
And now Gregory is part of our family.
Oh,
Gregory.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's such a formal name.
I know.
Does he have like a formal last name, like Gregory Von Haleko the third?
Maybe. I don't know.
Are there papers? And so it's understood now that this will be your husband's complete responsibility and your son's, and that you will have to do no cleaning of cages or feeding or buying, right?
I said, for as long as it lives, I will not clean up after
As
that.
God is my witness.
That's right. I am never, ever cleaning up after it.
I will not share all of my hamster-related stories because
Go
I
gentle.
had hamsters for many, many years in my classrooms.
Uh-huh.
But let's just say they are great escape artists.
Oh, great.
So it won't be a problem for long, is what she's saying. And if you wanted to,
That could
I don't
be a
know,
good
accidentally
thing.
leave the cage door open one day,
That could be a good
would
thing,
know?
Catherine.
Yeah, well, what I don't need is for my other pets to chase the hamster and catch
prey.
it and break its neck, which is what they would do.
Yes.
Yes.
So...
And be very, very proud of themselves.
Yes, and it would be traumatic for
They'd be
everyone.
totally psyched. As I recall, when my dog killed a groundhog, it was like, this is the best day ever!
Right. Look
As
what
I was
did,
like
and
screaming.
I did it all for you, and you don't even appreciate it.
Isn't this cool, Mom? Look what I did. Look.
What you wanted.
So,
Oh, fun.
yep. Merry Christmas to me.
Well, may I again recommend, as I have once before on this podcast, Chewy.com. Buy your dog food online. They will not deliver hamsters, I'm pretty sure.
Well, and thank goodness, though, for the man at the pet store who told my husband that it was not a good idea to have two because he wanted two.
You need to bring that man some cookies. Thank you so much.
I mean,
You
0
saved my
would have
marriage.
been a better number, but yeah.
That's right. 0 is indeed the ideal number for hamsters.
Well, all I can say, Catherine, is welcome to my life.
I know.
With husbands showing up and sons showing up with animals.
Right.
Well, now see, I have a pet-free home right now, and I have a husband who hates pets, so I have the opposite of you guys.
You'll wear him down. I know you will.
Yeah,
it takes a year or two.
I got worn down.
Yeah, see, I don't think we wear him down so much as we do what Catherine's husband did, which is just go do it, and then say, anyway. What, you didn't want us to? What? Right. I didn't get that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's what we do. We just decide.
That was what happened.
It'll be fine. He'll get over it. Oh, my. Well,
we'll have to get a check-in, a follow-up from you in a couple weeks.
It's not too late. Are you going to still buy a little holiday outfit?
A tie?
Do they make hamster ties? Little antlers?
Well, we're not supposed to touch it for the first, 2 weeks, so I guess not.
Well, bummer. Oh. You could put, a little wreath around its cage or something.
Yes, it does
have rocket ship.
It does have a little gift bow on it.
Aww.
The cage.
There you go. So festive.
And then, my next question is, well, now what am I supposed to get for my daughter? Because my son has gotten this. So, yeah.
Is there an animal that she would like?
A fish. Get her a fish.
She does not want an animal, I'm pretty sure.
That's good. But you have to get something that's appropriately time-consuming and costly.
I mean, costly, I sort of feel like is owed, but I don't know. I mean, I spend money on her all the time.
That's true.
Maybe not. Yeah.
They should have something where you can buy your kid a virtual hamster, and you could go online and see a camera of showing the hamster running on a wheel or something like that. You could visit it like you visit your dog when they're at the dog babysitter, but not actually have to have it in your home.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It's one of many business ideas we've come up with here. A service we provide on Parenting Roundabout. Somebody get on that, because really, kids are interested to look at the hamster for 5 minutes and then they're done.
They are. They really are.
And so they could just as well log on and have it open on their desktop all the time. Wave to their little hamster.
Log of pets.
Exactly. Yeah, and then you don't have to deal with it.
Mm-hmm. I like it.
The log of pets.
On that note, let me say hello and welcome to Parenting Roundabout, a weekly podcast about the things that parents are talking about, obsessing about, and complaining about right now. I'm Terry Morrow, and with me today are Nicole Eridix.
Hello.
And Catherine Haleko.
I'm complaining about surprise hamsters.
Surprise hamsters are never a good thing.
Nope.
Today on the podcast, we're going to talk about holiday prep on our speed round, shout out some stuff we like on the Roundabout Roundup, and do some shameless self-promotion. But first, something that's really holly jolly.
Yes, so there was this article on Buzzfeed that is a prime opportunity for a rant. And we like those. It's all about this chart that somebody posted on Facebook that compares working moms versus stay-at-home moms, and is, extremely slanted toward stay-at-home moms being the only way to live. And among other things, it mentions that working moms are always exhausted, but stay-at-home moms rest while their child naps.
Okay, first red flag.
Yes. And they also are prepping from scratch meals, and they are not cleaning or shopping because only working moms do that on the weekend. What they're somehow doing all day is only reading, playing with, and disciplining their children. And I don't know when all the rest of that other stuff gets done. So it's not only delusional, but it totally sets up every parent, every mother to be doing a terrible job, because just it's so unrealistic, and it's all very either or. There's only one way to be a working mom and it's terrible, and there's only one way to be a stay-at-home mom and this is the way. And really, that's just not life. And all three of us have lived most of our parenting careers in that gray middle of working part-time or working a lot, but working from home, or, even Nicole, I think you had like seasonally, where you were a teacher working full-time during the school year, but off in the summer. So it's such a combination of things. And so I thought we could, rather than talk about how ridiculous this chart is, because it's just beyond, what did you value about the different kind of mom lifestyles that you've experienced and tried out?
I was pretty much exhausted by all of them, so.
Right? There's pros and cons, of course, to everything.
Mm-hmm.
So, I working from home, I certainly feel lucky that I can, go and pick up a kid that needs something, or, there's what I didn't have that certainly when I had a very young child and I worked in a different state, like I had like an hour commute between the daycare and the office. And that was hard, but I also feel like I still enjoyed my work. I still needed to work. My kid was safe. My kid was learning. My kid and I were making friendships and building relationships that we still have today. So, there's never like 100%, this is terrible, no one should do this, So, Nicole, I think when you're a teacher and you work full-time or, more than that probably during the school year, but then you are off during the summer, is it hard to switch back and forth like that?
It is, most definitely. And I think probably what this does, this obviously touches a sore spot for me, because I really struggled a lot with working full time, because teaching isn't just a 9 to 5 job. I spent a lot of time in the evenings and on weekends and whatnot. So I kind of feel like, life did feel like it was falling apart sometimes, but during the summer times when I was at home, I certainly wasn't making nutritious meals from scratch and resting while my children napped. Like, it was still a full-on kind of a job. It wasn't all a bed of roses either. Right. So it was I looked forward to going back to school. I honestly did. And, cause I loved my job. But I hated dropping my kids off at 6:30 in the morning, and I hated picking them up at 6:30 at night. And, there's parts of it that, were really, really dreadful. But I think maybe why this really, I don't know, I get really heated about this is because I was constantly battling. There was that, if I was at work, I wanted to be at home. If I was at home, I wanted to be at work. It was a constant battle back and forth. And I had, most of my friends were stay-at-home moms. So there was a lot of, I had a lot of guilt from that as well. Other people that I worked with did not have children because I had my children younger. So a lot of the people that I worked with hadn't had their children yet. So there was so when I was at work, there was a lot of expectation to really give 110% to my job. And some days I just couldn't, like I needed to be at home. And so they didn't, so that my people at work didn't understand me. My people at home didn't understand me. So it was I really felt like I walked like a tightrope in a lot of ways. And especially when my kids were younger, and I didn't have family around me my mom and dad were around, but my mom worked. So she wasn't around to really pick up a lot of the pieces that needed picking up. And my husband traveled a lot. So it was really very much a single parent kind of a thing. So, this really kind of resonated with me, because this kind of stuff I felt like I lived a lot of like, oh God, both sides of it. And it just didn't. What does it do? It shames. It feels like it's shaming, when you're trying to do your best
and
for your situation.
The thing that I felt like it was designed to, promote staying at home and shame the working moms, but I feel like it shamed the stay-at-home moms too. That was the part that bugged me about it.
Yeah.
Because, nobody's life is perfect, and everyone's figuring it out every day. They're not like, oh good, I solved that and now life is great, because something changes.
Right.
Constantly. So.
Right. And I mean, what if you are the stay-at-home mom and you're looking at this thinking, wow, I should be resting while my kids nap. I should be making dinner from scratch. I should be reading to my kids all day long. I don't know. It's definitely a clickbait kind of a thing, but at the same time, there is a reality to it that I think can really, if you're vulnerable, it can certainly make you, you have a reaction to it, I guess is the thing, right?
Yeah. I just don't really feel like I have a dog in this fight. I never was working full time in an office when I had kids. And I also didn't have babies. So that was not an issue of putting a kid in daycare. Most I did is I went into an office 2 days a week at one point, and one day my husband was home when my son got home from preschool, because, they were in special ed, so they got bused, so there was never an issue of dropping off. And the other day we had some lady from church who came to our house and was there when he got off, so it was very minor. And then the rest of the time I was working at home, and that had its own things, but, they were in school usually. So I was able to, I guess just maybe the age I was when I had my kids and the situation that I had and the fact that we didn't really have a typical situation anyway, in many ways. I just never felt like I was part of either end of that. I never felt like I was really a stay-at-home mom, but I never felt like I was really a working out-of-the-house mom either. I mean, later on when I was working, they were both in elementary school, and I was working full-time in an office, but it was up the street from their school, and I had an arrangement with my boss that I could go work in the school, do the volunteer stuff. It was all very, fluid. So it doesn't push my buttons, really. I understand that it does for some people. I feel like it's kind of ginned up by people who are looking for clicks. The whole war between stay-at-home moms and working moms, which is not to say that people don't have their own opinions and sometimes, impress them on you at family gatherings and unpleasant, get-togethers. But it's just, gosh, it makes good blog fodder. And you can, and makes good podcast fodder. And here we are, and it riles people up, and I understand that. But I don't think that I really had, I had a foot in each of those, I guess. But our situation was always completely unique. So,
And I have to be honest here and say that when I was during this, as Catherine asked earlier, during the summertime, when I was at home, and, I'm looking at the right-hand side of that column. Yes, I was home all day long. I had my children with me. I read to them. We went to the beach and the park. Okay, I have to be honest and say that I also had a lot of depression around that time. Like, I wasn't entirely 100% happy doing that either.
Right.
So it's like, it was a real struggle to figure out what I should be and what suited me and where did I feel the least guilt? Was I happier working full time? Nope. Was I happy being at home full time? Nope. So this really pushed buttons for me because I could look at it and go, yeah, like aside from the fact that, it was brought to light for, readership.
Yes.
But at the same time, it's still, there's a lot of points in there that do resonate and are actual real issues that I personally struggled with. So, but now I find that I'm in an okay situation and I'm happy with that right now. So maybe I've found where I needed to be. I don't know.
Well, and your kids grew
up. What about
you,
Catherine?
Yeah, well, that helps too.
Yeah.
Although, in our household, that hasn't really made all that much of a difference, but because I still have to be around to drive people places, and it's, I can see that it's going to be no particular end to that. Another part of it being a unique situation. But that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, I feel lucky that I'm able to work at home and work flexibly and not all that much at the moment. But then, it's scary. It's like, okay, we're depending almost entirely on someone else's job at like a big company that has a wave of layoffs every couple months. That's super scary. So, I try not to. I don't like having all our eggs in that basket. So. Yeah.
The thing I find a lot too when it comes to the, devoting yourself 100% to parenting versus devoting yourself 100% to work dichotomy is I'm way better at the work part. It's like, I know exactly how to edit a manuscript and make it better, but to teach a kid something, to doing homework, dealing with emotional issues, figuring out job issues, I ain't good at that. I want to hire somebody to do that who's good at it. I want teachers doing that. It's like, it becomes very, very easy to bury yourself in work just because you can feel competent doing it.
Yeah.
And I'm blessed that I kind of have that right around me at all times. And I can just say, I'm just going to go in my room now and do something I'm good at. These kids, y'all try not to fall apart too bad until I get back.
Right.
I can't do this anymore. So, I'm sure I do believe there are people who are good at that. And, God bless them if they're able to do that full time and it makes them happy. That's fine with me too. We all have different skills, but unfortunately I had to do a lot just because of our particular situation. And, the whole, IEP meetings and all that, having to be an educational advocate, that's not, I was thrown into it and I did okay with it, I think, but that also would not have been my choice. Could I go to work, please? Would that be okay? Can I just go to an office somewhere and somebody else deals with this?
Yeah, no kidding.
It is, I feel so much more competent when I just close my door and work on stuff that in the greater scheme of things is not important except for the money, which is
and it also kind of
very
has
important.
A right answer and a wrong answer.
Exactly. Oh, those are so nice.
Aren't they?
And even, grammar grammar has a certain amount of, it has rules, as I'm copy editing, there are always rules, but there's also, not everything is cut and dried, and sometimes it gets frustrating, but it's so much more and so much less significant in the long run.
Right.
If you make a mistake with your kids, you feel like that's gonna affect your family for the rest of your lives. Yet if you misplace a comma, although, if you want to look for people outraged about things on the internet, there is quite the firestorm over the Oxford comma. You can find people. Oh my goodness.
It's true.
Yes, that's true.
People. So
people enjoy being outraged about.
They do.
Anything and
about
everything.
Things important and
Yes.
It's where we're at these days, I think.
Yeah,
I've certainly seen parenting debates on all sorts of issues that raise that same level of outrage. And I get outraged about like immediate things, like some tech person telling me that I need to open this website in Internet Explorer. That makes the top of my head fly off. Which happened to me today, listeners. Today. A large company said the preferred website for our large operation is Internet Explorer. See, that's what gets me apoplectic. This other stuff I go, yeah, well, she's a crackpot, but, God bless. If you find people who like your stuff, I don't agree with you, but go in peace. But yeah, don't tell me to use Internet Explorer, or I shall.
The things that matter.
That is a bridge too far.
That is a bridge too far. That is the sort of thing that makes me lose it.
Yes. Well, why don't we move on to something equally cheerful and calming?
In all this, shaming, not shaming, live and let live kind of stuff. Holiday check-in, folks. So I'm sorry if you feel shamed, but how are you doing with these shopping, wrapping, decorating, baking, parties, homemade decorations, homemade outfits, family portraits, like you name it.
Well,
like, where are you guys at?
First, let me say... And second, let me say, I ain't ashamed. I've done nothing. I have no shame invested in it. You can laugh at me all you want. I got nothing.
Well, maybe those things have been crossed off my list for so long that
crossed off your list, meaning you don't do them.
I don't do them, and
okay.
So that it doesn't even occur to me like I should be doing these things, like baking. I just have never ever done that. And then I'll see people post on Facebook these 4,000 cookies that they just made, and I'm like, oh yeah, no, that's just not a thing that I do.
Not me.
So okay, we're fine.
I do bake cookies. That is something that I usually do. I bake cookies and pumpkin bread. But last year, it's been over a year since my oven has been turning itself off randomly, which is bad enough for cooking like dinner, but you can't bake cookies with that possibility hanging over your head. No. So I didn't bake last year. Get new appliances. Maybe I'll be baking this year, but not that many, But that I do enjoy doing. Because I can eat cookies at the end of it.
Yeah.
The rest of it has... But there's a very good chance we will not put up our tree this year. One of the reasons I'm thinking let's go away for Christmas is so we don't have to put the tree.
Baking I just never do. And family pictures we've never done because my husband is extremely adverse to having his picture taken. So sometimes I try to take pictures of the kids... and the dogs, which I published the outtakes of that attempt the other day on Facebook.
Yes, very cute.
Yeah, those sweaters, that's all part of the hamster situation. Those sweaters were acquired in the same trip when he discovered the hamsters. But anyway, I did decorate
because
I sort of volunteered myself to have a group of people over. Which was after I did it, I was like, oh my gosh, what did I do?
Socialize.
What did I do? But so then I had to put the tree up. And I put the tree up but we never, then I did I put it up, and usually I would get a real tree, but I used our fake one because I had to do it really early because of this gathering, and because we are going to be away at Christmas time, so you don't like to leave a dried up tree in your house while you're gone. But we never did the whole all of us together putting on the ornaments, listening to music. That didn't happen, which is too bad. But that's life. It had to get done, and it got done eventually. And I did listen to Christmas music periodically while I was doing it.
Aww. I listened to the Vince Guaraldi Trio, what is it? Charlie Band Christmas.
Yes.
CD the other day.
There you go. Now you can feel all Christmassy.
On Nick Offerman's recommendation, but we'll get to that later.
So, Nicole, you've acquired the Christmas ties for the cats. And what else?
Yes.
Let us live vicariously through you, Nicole. Tell us all the things you've done.
Well, see, here we go. This relates to our first topic, is that I'm torn between the Norman Rockwell version of Christmas that I feel like I need to be providing for my family, and then, of course, the reality, which is I hate cooking, I hate baking, I hate wrapping presents. It's just like, I mean, I don't like Christmas shopping, but I feel like I need to be. So I'm triggered. This whole podcast is just triggered me.
And you
go
think
lie down after this in a dark room. She was in a mood. She felt like ranting.
Like I
need a good rant.
Honestly, this whole topic, I'm just really torn. I feel a lot of guilt. And I'm not even Catholic. I just feel a tremendous amount of guilt.
Well, your kids are old enough now. I don't think you need to do that much for them, do you?
Well,
do they get you? Now, let me ask you this. Do they get you presents? Do your kids get you presents?
No.
Or each other presents?
We're talking about having them get...
I'm trying to introduce
I'm trying to have them get each other presents this year.
And I want them to get me things, too. Because, come on, we're all adults here.
Yeah. So, yeah, but, I mean, the thing is, I feel like I need to... What I struggle with constantly is to have some kind of a tradition, right?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I need to have that tradition of, like, Christmas Eve, and then the tradition of Christmas morning, and then the tradition of Christmas dinner. And every year has been different, and it's frustrating, and and then I look at all these Pinterest pages, and
that's where
I'm thinking,
gotta
okay,
stop
I'm at home
going.
Yeah, see, I think you need to stay off the internet, Nicole. I think this is the key. Just back away. Is anybody in your life asking you to do those things? Does your family care?
Well, no, and they don't even help.
Okay.
Like, I put up all the Christmas decorations on my own every year, and I take them down on my own every year.
Do you like having them up? Does it give you happiness?
It does, but at the same time, I feel like, so the Christmas tree is in the living room. Well, nobody ever goes in there, so nobody's not even looking at the bloody thing.
Yeah.
So it's like, why is it even up there?
Just one Christmas, just don't do it and see what happens. If somebody complains, they got a job.
Yeah.
True.
And if it gives you pleasure, hire somebody to do it all.
And you might find that there are actually little traditions that you don't even realize. Like, I think my kids will say, like, oh, we always do X or Y. And I'm like, we do? Okay. Like, that just, I don't know, buying presents for the cats. Like, there's just things that might be, because we've had Christmas at home, we've had Christmas at my mother-in-law's, we've had Christmas at my parents', last year we went away. We've done it so many different ways. So it's hard for things to feel like they're taking root, I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
What I always wrote about in terms of families with special needs who often have trouble with the holiday traditions because family is not accommodating and kids can't do things that you did when you were a kid or whatever. Just make a new tradition. Make a tradition that's easy and convenient for you and call that a tradition. It doesn't have to be Norman Rockwell. Not many people do that anymore, I don't think. That lady in the Facebook group probably does, but she's clearly got a lot of time on her hands. But what would be fun for you in the holidays?
Honestly, and that's the thing, is that I don't know, and and that's probably the reason why I don't. It's just too stressful for me. I just don't even really.
Yeah.
I think the overall theme for me is, well, there's the side of me that thinks I should be doing something, and then the side of me that doesn't want to be doing something.
Yeah.
So I have to reconcile that.
See, the decorating and stuff used to be stressful for me, and so I've more or less stopped doing it.
Yeah.
So, but I let myself off the hook a lot more easily than you do. It sounds like. I just choose not to care, and nobody else cares. So, why?
But I don't want them to look back and think, "Oh, my mom never did that."
Well, but you did. They're adults now. They're already looking back. Did you do it when they were little?
Yeah.
Then they did. Then you did it. You're done.
You're done.
Have I done my job?
Accomplished.
Can I set my children free? I'm done my job.
From Christmas wise, yeah, yeah. Well, this is your daughter's last Christmas in high school, right? So make this the last one. After this,
it's a free
they're
for all.
You gave them all those good childhood memories, and now you're going to just drink a whole lot of eggnog. I will be make that your tradition. I'm gonna take this bottle of rum and this carton of eggnog. I'm gonna sit in that couch over there. Y'all are on your own.
Terry said.
That's right. It was an order from Terry Morrow.
To release
trying to think
the
what there's a hot alcoholic drink I used to make. What was it? Hot buttered rum. Have you ever had hot buttered rum?
No.
I don't drink anymore, but that was good. I'll have to find my recipe and give it. It involved Haagen-Dazs vanilla ice cream, rum, and hot liquid of some sort.
How is it hot if it has ice cream?
Yeah, well, the hot liquid made it hot. I don't know if it was water or something. Instead of putting cream in it, in other words, you put this incredibly rich high butterfat ice cream in it. It melted into the drink and made it really delicious. One of them and I would fall asleep, which is why I don't drink anymore. But still, that could be your holiday tradition. Hot buttered rum all around. We sit
in the corner
in front of our fake fireplace in California and
in our sweaters, which we really don't need.
We sit out on the back porch in the hot tub and toast to Christmas.
Toast.
There you go.
We'll see. I'll work on it. I am your
slacker friend. I will encourage you into all sorts of lazy habits. Watch out.
You'll be that. I've got Terry on one shoulder and then my mother on the other.
I will knock your mother off. Yeah.
Good times. Good times.
Well, see, it says right here in the script, it's fine to not care. So Catherine agrees with me.
I'm gonna care.
There's your problem right there.
Just can't about help herself.
I just
enough hot buttered rums and you won't. All right.
Exactly. Remember that you can hear a new speed round every Wednesday through Friday. Hi, we hope you're enjoying this episode of Parenting Roundabout. We're not one of those podcasts that's trying to sell you websites or mattresses or meal kits. I mean, we totally would, but no one's asked us yet.
There is, however, something you can do that costs you nothing, but will put a little change in our pockets. Listen to our podcast on the Radio Public app. Download the app to your iPhone or Android device and listen to Parenting Roundabout there, and we'll get paid for each listen. Plus a little more if you listen a lot.
We think you'll enjoy listening to all your podcasts on this app, but if you could at least listen to Parenting Roundabout there, we'd be very grateful. Now, back to the episode. Well, now we will bring to you some of the things we've read or seen or used recently that we want to shout out and share with you. Nicole, what do you got? Is it something that makes you feel good about yourself, honey?
Well, this doesn't necessarily make me feel good about myself. I mean, I enjoy listening to it, but it's kind of a morbid topic.
Well, that's good. Were you able to put down your burden for a little while?
I was able to think,
excellent.
Oh, wow, my life doesn't suck that bad.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we all need a little of that in our life, don't we?
Actually, this is really kind of sad. I shouldn't have said that. And with no disrespect to the people in the situation that they're in, but
all right.
I got onto several podcasts, and actually the one that I put up here is not the one that I wanted to talk about. But I got put onto I'm not a big podcast listener other than ours, of course. And my brother came across one, which is a podcast centered around a city that I grew up near. So remember, like ages ago, I talked about that city that we would drive to. It was like 5 hours away. And
that's where the McDonald's was.
Yes. Yeah. That was our main place, right? So anyway, the city is north of Duluth.
Okay.
Duluth, Michigan, right?
Minnesota,
Duluth. Okay, so it's called Thunder Bay.
Oh, yeah.
So, have you heard of it, Catherine?
Yeah.
Is that where Paul Schaefer is from?
Pardon? Yes. Paul Schaefer from the
It's where Paul Schaefer is from Letterman.
I believe.
And that's where I've heard of it.
I had a good friend in college, actually, who was from there.
So, anyway, so there's a podcast now that they're examining, I guess there's a lot of crime in Thunder Bay because it's a port city, and it's a lot of like sad things that happened. And I did not know this, but it has a nickname called Murder Bay.
Whoa.
So
lifting the mood here a little bit is Nicole.
So, but it's such a well-written, put-together podcast that analyzes like different aspects of the city and the workings of the city and why it is the way it is, and it's really interesting. And the role that the Indigenous people have in not that they're doing the murders, but they're part of this kind of social situation that's not very good. So it was very enlightening for me to listen to, and it's interesting to see from different perspectives how it's a true story. So it's called Murder Bay, and it's a podcast.
Wow.
And it's very interesting. That's all I got to say about that.
Catherine, I'm a little scared to ask. What do you got this week?
Christmas music.
Much more enlightening.
My favorite things?
No, absolutely not. My favorite things. That is not a Christmas song. I am not a crackpot. Stop playing it on XM Radio, Christmas channel. Anyway, the McGarrigle Christmas Hour album is the McGarrigle sisters, that are like related to the Wainwrights, or they're the Canadians.
Yeah.
They're Canadians. And it's like this really quirky album because it has like some very, very traditional songs on it. But it also has like Rebel Jesus, which is a song I really love, but it's all about basically like, you Christians are really hypocrites is pretty much the message that it's sending. But if you just don't really pay that much attention to the lyrics, it's a nice song to listen to. But anyway, the McGarrigle Christmas Hour, it's a little odd, but it's kind of, I don't know, I enjoy it at Christmas time.
Kind of like us.
Yes.
A little odd, but enjoyable.
Makes it interesting.
Well, unlike Nicole, I do listen to a lot of podcasts. So very many podcasts. And I'm constantly finding new podcasts. And my podcast queue right now is ridiculous. But one podcast I saw drop this week that I immediately put at the top of my queue was the Poscast holiday episode. This is a podcast that's sort of about sports and entertainment with Joe Posnanski, who's a sports commentator, and Mike Shore, who's the showrunner and creator of Parks and Rec and The Good Place, which Catherine and I are loving right now. But last year, hilariously, I listened to it, and they had their holiday draft was of holiday songs. They do drafts of various pop culture-y things. This year, it was favorite holiday character, and they had on among other people, Linda Holmes, who's an NPR person that Catherine and I both enjoy listening to, and Nick Offerman from Parks and Rec, and Alan Sepinwall, who's a TV critic I've followed for a really long time. And it is just so funny. His favorite holiday character, the way each of them interpreted that. Linda Holmes was preparing apparently to go to some sort of Christmas war, and I feel like she maybe needs a hug. And Alan Sepinwall decided that meant any holiday, and so started going kind of far afield in his characters. And it's very, very funny, especially fun if you know the people involved and have followed their various work, but also just funny for the sheer silliness of it and the way they all went after each other's picks fairly sarcastically.
It was very, very amazing.
Yes. So if you need a little Christmas laughter and sarcasm and, minor warfare in your Christmas season, give that a listen. It's very, very funny. And it will, I believe, put a smile on your face and have you shaking your head. And there's also quite a Twitter thing about it, too. They were making fun of each other on Twitter as well. So, good times.
And now, for our final segment today, we're going to do a little shameless self-promotion and direct you to some things on our sites that we think you should take a look at. And is pretty bare in our cupboard right now.
We are standing up for the people who don't force themselves to do work when they don't feel like it. We don't want you people to feel ashamed, so we too will not produce anything
new
in solidarity.
Yes. I don't have anything new. I hope to have something new. So just keep checking out my website to see.
We have the dream of something new.
Yeah, it's one more thing to add to my list of things that I have to do.
We are not shaming you, Nicole, for not having anything. It's all right. It's a busy time of year.
I have nothing. I have nothing to give anymore.
So golly. Yeah, I got nothing myself.
Me too. I got nothing.
We're good.
All right. So go onto our various blogs and social media presences and scroll back and enjoy all the different things we've posted over the year.
Your catch-up week.
For my blog, that'd be like 3 posts, but still.
A year in review.
Go back and review what we've done this year and enjoy and wish us well. Because apparently we could just all use it, a nap and a pat on the head.
Yeah, or a cloth over my eyes.
Nicole's now going to go lie down in a dark room. It's okay.
I'm done.
It's okay. We'll all be all right. Well, that's it for this week's episode of Parenting Roundabout. We hope you enjoyed it and that you'll join us every week. You can listen to podcast episodes on Radio Public or download them from Apple Podcasts. Please subscribe so that you get all of our podcasts and mini podcasts.
You can also follow us on Twitter, where I am at Nicole Erdix, Catherine is at C. Haleko, and Terry is at Momitude. You can also follow the podcast on Twitter at Roundabout Chat and look for us on Facebook, Pinterest, Tumblr, YouTube, and Instagram too.
Best of all, stop by our podcast page at parentingroundabout.com and read recaps, find links on everything we've mentioned, and talk back in the comments. Thanks to John Morin at johnjmorin.com for providing our in and out music. And I wish everyone a great week.